Hello. See the video. How's everybody today? How's everybody today? Just having a good day, right? Oh yeah, I'm hiding. Give me a minute. Hello, everybody. And it's been a while that I think I'm gonna give the lore first before I do it. And something that I had kept for a while because I haven't, even thought about making it. Um, Unlike the other times where I have to use a voice mod, I'll show my real voice for once, and I'll try to narrate as much as I can, as just to make sure the story is good and accurate. I'm not the best at these, but I'll try my best to, be a good narrator, if you know what I mean. Okay? So, before we get to it, I want to say like and subscribe, but we know that's gonna be annoying. It's too trendy. So I am gonna do something where I am how I end up with this version myself. Okay. Okay. Now. So see you there. Meow. To be specific, this is my the voice changer voice mod on. Now time to turn it
off. Literally off. Hi, yes, this is my real voice, and it's been a while since I had revealed my real voice, and I'm usually very shy around myself, so I always try to play characters just so it's fair. Actually, instead of narrating, I will actually talk about the OC. I think that would be a lot better than trying to do a narration because, if I don't know how to narrate well, then you guys are probably gonna hate me. So I'm gonna go and just talk about like my OCs each month. I'm gonna start with Anna. If you already know who she is the riddle spirit that, well, OC I made, spirit OC, that actually was more of like a granny towards the four medieval kids that, well, you already know by then. Because there was like, I already had made the lore a little bit about them, and I don't think going farther into them will make great. So it's just, if you see my video a while ago about the medieval kids, the four of them, where one of them 16, there's a 10, then a 9, then a 6. But you already know what I mean by like those kids. Basically, well, I don't remember everything, so give me a minute. Basically, she is the grandmother to them. Basically, like grandmothers. Basically, the lore about her is when she was alive, she was born in, well, you can figure it out, Mexico. Consider the song that she originally was introduced in. She's actually from, like, Mexico, or something like that. And I try my best to respect one of my cultures a little bit. So, in case you are wondering why is she like a grandmother to the four kids, that's why. She is a mother, basically. Well, the info I put in the shorts not too long ago that tells you that she's a unique grandmother. The reason why I put Arrow Ace is because the LGBTQ didn't exist back then, and she wasn't really into love or adult stuff. She's just more of, she has to respect the religion, and she has to and she really took it like, okay, have kids, find a hubby, boom. Not the, oh my god, he's so handsome. Sorry. So I usually am around me and my friends, so the word she ends up in my mouth technically often. And the reason why I kind of made her East is because I don't really have idea what to do, and because most of the time I'm willing to like put LGBTQ flags in the characters. There was like one OC of mine we'll get to later. I just don't want to like people thinking that she's just this person. I mean, this OC of mine is really just stereotypical. So I'm going to talk about her next. Okay, so I'm just going to talk about the granny for now. So, she was born in Mexico, and believe it or not, she's just like every other woman in Mexico, and she was raised, and yeah, and bed that stuff, and you get chocolate or something like that. I have no idea. This man, I barely know Mexicans that much, other than like they like spice, that type of stuff. So if you're a Mexican or somebody who knows somebody who is, can you kindly let me know what they do? Just so I can be more accurate with her next time. Because mine, I don't always look at the culture. Sometimes I never look it up. And it's only because I'd rather just make the LC and just have somebody to relate to at some point. You know, that kind of thing. Um, when did she die? Basically 1940s, and it was at age 72. It was just died of age. So it's kind of why it just felt more natural when I said like her age was, and and you have to be honest, yeah, she did have kids, about 9, and half of them were girls, half of them were boys. So basically, yeah, it was a. I know that some people would say like that's a lot of kids for a Mexican, but I mean, I don't like being a stereotypical, so I try my best to avoid anything stereotypical that would make me look like a bad person or a terrible person or anything like that. You know how internet is these days. So basically, I try to. So when she was in the afterlife, she ran into those 4 evil kids, and she felt like they never had a proper childhood. So she gave them cookies. She gives them toys, that kind of stuff that people normally do. Did she had a career? No. 1940s? You think anyone would at the time? No. And it's just more fair that I mentioned that when she died, because that would make more sense why I said it wasn't around, that kind of stuff. Although, yes, the LGBTQ flags have been around longer than the LGBTQ community themselves. Yes, that's basically true. Because if you ask somebody who actually knows history well, no matter what they are, and I try to like think of something, I know a lot of people are thinking, quit thinking of yourself. Come on, man. I get that before, especially on Roblox. Trust me. Oh my god, they were mad at me for trying to go with similar character, except for them not being me. So, I get it. Trust me, I get it a lot. But I tried to, instead of going with what normally is something normal, I would just go with something that's more of somebody else. So, or just have my own, but with somebody's personality in there, which is, she's based on a family member of mine. Because I used to love her a lot. And it is a lot rougher when I am not, she's not in the same house. It's a lot rougher. But however, I'm trying to live on her legacy. I just made OC. I didn't even think about it first because my brain was wanting like OC at first. With it, later on I realized it reminds me of my a family member. So it's kind of why I'm kind of saddened a little bit right now. So I'm trying to laugh just to snap out of it. I'm not going to do anything more about my versions of myself because, well, it's very obvious. They're different personalities of me. Everyone knows that by now. I don't do lore about my own. I will do a lore about myself when I'm about to leave, but not when I'm still in it. Like, I will still, like, comment around and, like watch stuff like everyone else does. Even comment here and there in case anyone recognizes me. But, however, I'm not gonna be like making videos or something like that at some point in the future. Originally, I think of like retiring in 2026, but I felt like that might make some people upset that I stayed on for a short amount of time, so I might stay longer. That's what I would say. I might stay longer than that. So, anyways, and that I know that's not part of the video, but I'm going to get this out of the way real quick because I kind of changed my mind a bit. So, anyways, the sponsor is nobody. It's very obvious. I'm not sponsoring anybody. Like, I don't trust the internet, especially what it is like lately. Trust me, I've seen the robot ads, robot dog ads, and some ads that just look AI generated. Yeah, no. I've seen enough, man. Anyways, let's get back to the video. Next, I'm going to talk about this OC that I will disclose about her, what if about her is now. Remember, if you remember her a little bit, her name's the one with like spike hair or something like that, with like that's happened to be a female, and that's Jamie. Jamie is actually a lesbian soldier, and trust me, when I say lesbian, I mean literally lesbian. However, when it comes to Jamie, unlike other OCs where they're just men back then, she was the only actual female back then. Because the other female soldiers were just unknown and I'd rather not go there. She reminds me, she was the only one. She's originally the only female soldier OC at the time. When in lore-wise 10 years ago, I would say it's because like you don't know anybody yet in the military, so just talk to them, see if they're going to be friends with you, something like that. And Jamie is actually the shyest back then, right before she is literally lesbian. She wasn't real sure about herself back then as well. Not just Tay. We'll get to her in a minute. Jamie wasn't really like raised terribly. Just wasn't happy about her grandparents, how they raised her. Because her parents usually have to like they're extremely busy usually, so somebody has to keep on her back in when she was a child, something like that. And well, the grandparents weren't really that great. I would say that, Jamie. But however, later on she kind of just moved on, and she grew better to like their mother and father, and she felt like trying to get out of comfort zone because she was like a nerd in high school or something like that. And later on, she wanted to join the military because she wants to get stronger. You know, like people want to be stronger, something like that. I think it like was years later, like a decade later, she joined the military. Would say she wasn't really like close to much people other than the soldier. Jamie, later on, she was in the strict house, so it's kind of like you heard, the soldier that you guys are seeing, the soldier who became spirit, because of the heroic sacrifice. Basically, she was actually encouraged by him to help her like get out of her comfort zone and open up. You know how like you would be in a shell. That's basically what she is normally, but ever since he helped her like start being more socialized, his mind the spirit soldier is the oldest of the group, so she actually looked up to it a lot. She actually opened up and she learned she was a lesbian basically, just naturally. And trust me, reason why there was a short about like Tay and Jamie got me talking like that at some point was because literally no one's gonna be like go up me and like try to outdo her on handsomeness. Like no, I can't. Like literally nobody can. If you like the OCs will just tell you that no one's gonna be handsomer than Jamie herself. while Jane would just say it's everybody ever heard. Trust me, she does still have insecurities, but it's not as bad as it was when she joined the military. Anyways, now who's next? I'm pretty sure some of you are wondering, can you talk about yourself? No, not this. No. This is for OCs only, not me versions. No. I don't want a calculus math going on my butt and trying to math myself and how many lowers I will take about myself. No. Basically, anyways, next, let's talk about Tay, yes. Well, actually, no. I think Tay will and Austin deserve their own video. Consider I'll have to explain them a lot more than usual. So, anyways, let's talk about, instead of those two, let's talk about, what's on the list? Oh, yeah, Jack. I know some of you may not remember Jack much, consider a lot of you assume he's gay or something like that. Actually, he was not. In fact, if you have a look at when he was introduced, you will know he's straight. It's just he ended up with fashionable. He just got he loves fashion, and I know it sounds similar to me, but the only difference is he likes fashion because it makes insecurities. He won't have as much insecurities as, but he doesn't wear it. So if you're wondering why there was a short about him wearing a cowboy hat and it's basically just Tay's version of like when they met, as in like dating wise 4 years ago. Some people are questioning the age gap. It's just like the last time I think of a couple, and when like stereotype of like you got an abusive partner and then the other person's a victim, something like that. So I try to like not make that again. So I figure to add Jack and Tay together. I know it sounds stupid, but the way I see like those two get along in my imagination is really great. Back then in the military, they were not dating at all. They just met each other as in like just friend-wise. So basically, Jack wasn't really a first. The reason why I said he never went through trauma was because people around him was very nice, and the reason why I kind of put Tay and Jack together was just so the chaos is kind of neutral or something like that. Instead of like one person never had one and the other person has like almost all the trauma. So yeah, I try to avoid doing that. So I try to putting all the trauma on one character. So I try to like go with like as little as possible. And if I know I need to add more trauma just to make it seem more like relatable, then that's how I do. Basically. Yeah. Basically, Jack was from not a rich family, but just a good family. Something like that. Jack was actually abandoned. That was the only thing I'm going to mention because if you didn't see the name Jefferson at some point, that's because, well, its adoptive parents adopted him, and well, it worked well because Scott never had a younger brother, and literally Austin had to take a lot toll considering he was the oldest. Basically, Jack never had any trauma at all, if I be honest. I know that sounds like I'm making a stereotypical thing, but the only difference is I try to make sure the middle child wasn't as like had to deal with a lot as the older. I might one day do reverse, where the youngest was doing a lot, but I don't want to do that at the moment because, well, it's not the year for it, that good stuff. Sorry about that. My nose was kind of being given me wrong. Anyways, So, I know some of your opinions are gonna be like, then why would you make Jack? Well, the purpose of Jack was just so has like some type of like he is a real fairy. He's just kind of more preserved and just more chill than usual. Like I know that he looks like he could be another drag queen or something like that, because it looked like he was queer. But I try to make a different side of what a fanboy looks like. So when I did mention that he's straight, it wasn't like to tell you that he's gonna be stereotypical straight, where he is a gays. No, not that person. No, I'm just more for it as like his family is very good in raising him, and he's just later on with Jack. He went to the military with his brothers, believe it or not. And actually, he became more of a friend to those two brothers than he used to be because, well, the generation difference, how people would know different things. Yeah, it's how typical adopted being like younger, like age gap kids happen to be usually. But I try to steer away from it. So yes, my definition, Jack is in a different generation than usual. So something like that. I am willing to well, sorry for like rambling on while I'm yarning. Just my brain's on high gears, so give me a second. So Jack, after he left the military, he has his eye opener like not every world's gonna see him as a good person, so he tries to like fit in by by actually wearing like femboy clothes. Yeah, basically. Sorry about that, man. So basically, now Jack is on the way. Yeah. Yeah, I think yeah, and then yeah, I'll explain now about like when they met. They met when he was 22 and she was 32. Yes, about 6 years later. I know it just sounds insane, but it was the only thing I could think of at the time, and well, it kind of worked for me because I was able to actually make a lot more like couple shorts than usual. Because back then I didn't really think about it, because I know a lot of people were going like, why would you make a couple like that, man? Why would you make a couple like that? Why would you do that? Well, it's because I want to like join trend or something, but I didn't want to like make it a stereotypical where it's just same age, different month, but same day and year or something like that. I don't know. Man, this might be my longest video I've ever made on just my phone alone. Only my phone. Next I'm gonna talk about is let's see, I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, not Scott. Scott is the youngest bloodline-wise brother of Austin's. Scott is a different story, where I know some of you are like, what is he? He's just a librarian actually. Well, these days he's just a librarian who loves his job, and he likes to interact with kids with just books and tell them a story. Like Little Red Hood, Big Bad Wolf, and three little pigs and the Big Bad Wolf. That kind of stories. That's basically what he is. I know some people are like, don't you normally make it female? Well, most people would make it female because they're people typically sees women know how to take your kids more, despite the other way around. That kind of stuff. It doesn't mean like I'm trying to say that women aren't able kids. It's just some people kind of make other mothers look worse than what some people always say it is. Just like there are some fathers out there who make other fathers look worse. Like, for example, my father, my birth father. He was not a great person, if I be honest. Yeah, and I'm not gonna go into that because it's not on me lore. It's time to talk about a different lore. Okay, anyways, let's get back on track. Scott is a librarian. Back then he was just, like your normal guy, basically, where he just looks up to his older sibling, basically. And basically, if I try to make him known for something, I would try to make him known for his mustache. Consider I don't normally put mustaches on OCs. Consider normally I just see them in a different way. So I put a mustache on him. Consider it like more sense of his character, where like to tell you that he is not a teenager. Hello, he is the tallest soldier OC in the military group OCs of mine. Like, he is about 7 foot when he left the military. Well, not 7 foot, like 6 foot. And then years later, he's 7 foot. Like, that's how tall he is now. So, and OC being lower wise, he is about 7 foot. So you can probably guess a lot of people go like, and they go and look up and they're like, sir, can you, would you like apply for this job? That kind of stuff. It sounds like making stereotypical African American person, but in reality, I'm trying to like make him more unique. So like, Austin is just a very unique character where he's actually a stay-home parent. Austin being a house person, sorry to repeat that, and a gamer. Scott is you can stay with me, somebody who likes outdoors. Does that mean it's a bad thing? No, absolutely not. It just means he doesn't really like devices so much. But when he is filmed, he always tries to act like he's just part of the character a little bit that. Which is, I try to make it more like a normal guy as much as possible, where he's not technically popular, but he's not like very unknown. I hate my nose so much. I hate allergies, man. When will you allergies go away? Sorry about that. Sorry for the rant for a second about allergies. Allergies always bother me, which is labeled for sure a lot of people. Scott is just a dude that, while he's not a parent, he might get a girlfriend soon. I'm not gonna say like maybe within 2 months because those are side characters. Months, like, and I want to like give my subscribers like a chance to like be credited as part of my shorts, something like that, or videos. And in case they want to act in it, they have to like provide. They'll have to be honest with me, and I'll tell them info about where my socials, and I'll just ask them to like record their own voices, and I'll try my best to fit it in the character as much as possible. Basically, yeah, that's what I'm doing. Scott is Scott in the main. I'm going to start main OCs again next year. Basically, I just want to take time away from like making so many main OCs that I can't keep track. So basically, Scott is just your average uncle that everyone loves and that kind of stuff. So it's kind of why I said like he's just a normal dude. It's just because I know some people would say stereotypically uncles are the worst, other than aunts and the mother and fathers. I would say yeah. I try to avoid that. Stereotypicals are not my thing unless it's necessary. Otherwise, I don't. Scott later on joined the military with his brothers. Like I said again, joined his brothers, and him and basically Austin don't know what sports was because where they were lived in. Jack at least was able to experience sports when he was in high school, but Scott and Austin never did. So Basically, it's kind of why I kind of mentioned that the spirit gave them the basketball when he was alive. Anyways, back to Scott. Scott, when he left the military, unlike Austin and Jaguar, they tried to look appealing as much as possible. Scott was just rather be in comfort clothes or like colorful clothes that are comfortable for him. So it's kind of why you saw he just looked different. So next, sorry for going so long on Scott. Tried to get as much lore out as I can without going narrating well, because that would take forever. What was it again? Trying to recount. So give me a minute. Oh yeah, the spirit. The spirit. His name was actually I would say Troy, because and kind of fit his personality a bit. And I know a lot of people thinking Troy as in like a Power Ranger from Megaforce. Yeah, I don't think that would make sense or go well age like milk. But I'm just willing to like go for it. So yeah. Troy, this spirit soldier, by the way. He was from a religious family, which is I know a lot of people are thinking like Jewish or something like that. No, he's just Christian, and he wasn't really into like Christian stuff, but he felt like going for it, and it did help him in life a lot. Right before he makes our fictional heroic sacrifice. Sorry for like my English. Though I'm from America, I can't English enough. My brain's on pedals, and they're just going like, basically, Troy was the only soldier. Yeah, it was. Yeah. However, the reason why I mentioned his favorite color was black and he was a goth was because he was in an edgy state at age 30 when he joined the military. He wasn't really like into like socializing much, so most of his friends kind of usually nag on him, tease him. You know, like how normally there's always one person that gets teased on by a lot of people, where it's like, is your boyfriend about to make out with you? And you hear that person go like, no, in a very embarrassing tone. That's basically what kind of character it's kind of like people would do to him. When he joined the military, his life was not perfect. He had to like take care of his younger brothers and younger sister, and let's just say his siblings are even less Christian than him. But however, he loves them as much as he loves himself. His parents were kind of like really busy because they were in debt, so he dated and his parents didn't have enough time to spend time with him. So unfortunately, he had the responsibility of taking care of his younger sisters or brothers. I have no idea what numbers are. Sorry, forgive me for that. Basically, Troy was just like anybody else who was actually very friendly. He would sometimes read in the Bible. It's only just for his like protect his friends like spirits attacking them. Back then. You know how like people would just whisper around the house just so spirits won't attack them. Yeah, that person. Basically, other than that, he's just more of a normal person where he just like talking about video games or that kind of stuff. Like Mario Kart, Skylanders. You get the point, right? You get the point. Yeah. Sorry, my nose is always bothering me. Alright, I don't know where the allergy is, so I'm just going on with the allergy, so give me a minute. Actually, I'm not going to grab allergy, but however, I'm going to keep talking. Because, why not? Yes, Roy did serve for sacrifice when he joined the military, when the war was ended. However, he did leave an impact on a lot of people, even those I never mentioned. At all. Reason why I say he's albino and not typical like African Americans, because you know how DNA sometimes get mixed up, where sometimes you got like a different kind of like DNA. I'm not really a scientist, so I can't really go in there. I'm not a doctor either, so I can't really go in that field, but I try to make albino African American because, well, African, because I felt like it kind of makes him a unique character. I know a lot of people are questioning, like, wait a minute, are you telling me that's albino African? I thought he was just a straight dude with just an afro. No, it's African American. Just, well, I'm sorry. And did he date one? Yes. Yeah. I'm not gonna like mention his girlfriend until like maybe later on in the site OCs, maybe, but I wouldn't really do it. However, unfortunately left for just basically a daughter. Yes, just one daughter, and she actually just stays single ever since. Troy's girlfriend, basically. Yeah, not great. Now let me talk about the OC's cameraman, camerawoman. I know some people are gonna think badly about her, on camerawoman. It's because like she is a Christian and she follows a religion where she hides her hair. I know a lot of people are trying to take it badly, or at least will at some point. So I know some people are enthusiasts and they're going to think any Christian OC is terrible. I try to make OC that's a Christian that isn't like stereotypical where they're terrible. Because believe it or not, one of my grandparents is a Christian. And I wouldn't be talking about it if there weren't terrible people misrepresenting Christians badly, especially with one of my best friends' mother, who basically made my one of my grandparents' pals, which is Christians, look terrible. Like on paper, it sounds normal, but then you realize how terrible they are. Basically, I try to make the camerawoman Christian because it makes sense. I know some of you are like, what do you mean by it makes sense? It's because I try to think, just stick to like maybe. I'm not going to like stereotypical because, well, stereotypical would mean it's just a blonde haired lady going like, hi, nice to meet you. I am his wife. No, not those kind of here people. I'm just going to rather go with like more natural. Where I try to make a specific race, but my brain keeps thinking it's Muslim, but I am not sure, so I can't really talk about it much. The cameraman in your hand, I try to make it more of the enthusiast or something like that, where you got two of opposites end up being good as a couple and put them together and try to make it more like, like a peaceful thing where you got two opposites end up being together and it works. Something like that, basically. And the reason why I kind of said, like, he isn't a Christian, but he does accept her, is because literally, without her, he wouldn't even be able to, like, live a normal life where he would end up, like how stereotypical people would just cause like terrible things, to do terrible things like robbing things or doing even terrible things I won't mention. That's because that would be if his wife wasn't around. Because his wife was in his life, he was able to avoid those things because he was on the edge where he couldn't handle being treated terribly, or basically. Unfortunately, those kind of stories. Luckily, his wife was around and he actually got his shit together and he became a good husband, actually. He's just more an out person while she is just more of a gamer. So, yeah. So, let's go with it. Now, any more about Austin's only son or his daughters? Yes. Austin Jefferson loves his son and his daughters a lot. Like how good parents would be. Like like he loves his kids so much that he's willing to like make sure they have a better life than him. So that kind of stuff. If is there any lore? Probably not, to be honest, because I don't like keep going forever to where this comes 50 minutes. Keep that in mind. I'll be insane, because that would mean I had to recap every OC that I had made, and when I moved them. That's weird, man. Anyways, let's just turn back on the voice changer right about now.
Well, anyways, yeah. That's basically what I'm doing, basically, where I talk about a season once monthly. Anyways, I hope you guys have a good day, and see you guys next time.